Well, Stephen, a return to winning ways after the postponement, of course, last week, back to action, and how do you reflect on that game?
Well, generally we're pleased to win the game. I thought first half our shape got the better of them, and I thought we moved the ball well without having a real end product. I've said before that when you play with the under-20s, that because the team's never the same, and you're always chopping and changing formation, and depending on what personnel is available to you, sometimes you only get a day or so to try and shape the team up and put them together. So I felt that at times we were struggling to get in behind their midfield. We had lots of the ball at the back, moving it well, getting down the outside of them. We had the penalty miss, which probably settles us down a little bit, Lewis. It probably, at that stage we were dominant, and you think if you get the penalty, you get the goal, then it almost means you can relax a little bit, and they might have to come out a little bit earlier. James Scott had a good chance as well, through one-on-one, and it's something I said to him, centre forwards are going to be renowned for scoring goals. You look at Louis Malton, you look at Rand Bowman in the first team. So, he has to get used to hitting the back of the net. So, pleased with the win. As I say, first half I think was better than the second half. It was a mistake from them that gifted us the game. So, pleased we're back on the winning ways, yes.
You mentioned that you were almost down to the bare bones, so of course Jack McMillan and Jake Casey came back, and with their loan spells, what was it like seeing them back in the team? Well,
it's always good, because I always think it's important for the manager to see how they're getting on. Sometimes you put them out on loan and you kind of lose them, as much as they come in and train with us. I think it's always important for the manager to see how they play, what they do, what part of their game's improving, can he put them into his first team, all those kind of scenarios a manager wants to look at. So, we're down in numbers, Liam Brown's injured, Shea Gordon's injured, Jordan Armstrong hasn't been well this week, Dylan Faulkner hasn't been well, Dylan Kingsway in Northern Ireland under-21s. So we're down on numbers, and it's credit to the manager that he wanted to put some of the senior lads in, because I think Ellis and Grimmy wanted to play, and I thought they were excellent. Just their appetite for the game. It's nice for the young boys. I always say about first team players, and they're not long at under 20 football themselves, so they know what it's like to be a young player trying to make their way. So to come down and set a good example that they did was terrific. So some good performances. I thought Ellis is probably that's as good as he's been. I thought defensively he was good. His understanding of the game, his 1v1 defending, so he'll take a lot from that as well. Grimmy, first game back in a while, but James Scott's a young man trying to make his way in the game. You can see him making errors, making mistakes, does some really good things. So it's almost trying to get a perfect game together for James up front, for example. So we'll work on him, we'll stick at him, I'll keep shouting at him and chasing him, but he knows that I want him to do well and I want him to push on.
And on a night when things were largely frustrating going forward, did it sum up that it was that bit of hunger and appetite and desire to make that winning goal?
Well, it's the one thing that the manager kind of tried to impose upon the first team and the under-20s when he took the job, that don't be playing too many negative passes in your own half. All it does is encourage people to come and press you. So that was a negative pass from a goalkeeper. I know it was a forward pass, but it's a 10-yard nothing pass to one of his own players in his own box, who then the player takes one touch and tries to set it back. So he's almost encouraging Jake to go and press him. And I don't want to criticise the opposition too much because we've won the game, but Jake's took the gamble. It encourages him to press, and that's something we're trying to say to our players. Can you play one or two square balls? Then it's got to go forward. It can't be any more than two. I'm sure they'll learn from it, but it's just opportunity for Jake to sense and go and do it. He's full of energy, full of appetite. You can see he's playing first team football. He's up to speed. He has to improve on things in his game. He's not really a centre forward, but we're trying to make him one because he has to play with his back to the goal at times. So pleased he got a goal after his penalty miss, because I thought if we got the penalty in the first half, we scored the penalty in the first half, it might have settled us a little bit earlier.
Well, Stephen, as always, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, boys.